YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, chicks.
Listen, Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Finally, you guys, we're finally getting some answers about what happened with Melyssa Ford on the Joe Budden podcast. Now, first of all, I want to take some time to address all you guys that was hating on Jim Jones doing the podcast. A lot of people said, yo, Jim Jones is a copycat. He sees what's working for people like Joe Budden, people like Nori, Gilly, and Wallow, and he wants to do the same thing. If you guys don't know, Jim Jones basically has 2 podcasts out right now. You guys all know his main podcast called Let's Rap About It with Mano, Fab, and also Dave East. But Jim is also tapping into his journalist bag with a one-on-one podcast. He's got a podcast called Artist to Artist where he interviews different kind of artists. And before you guys start hitting on it, it's actually pretty dope. One of the main reasons why it's dope is because Jim Jones is an artist that people respect, not only in the music industry, but also in the streets. You guys know when artists go up and do interviews, a lot of times they half-ass the interview. Sometimes these guys are high, drunk, or both. But when these guys sit with Jim Jones, it's a whole different level of respect. They know Jim is not the one to play with. They know he can easily go from 0 to 100. He's not shy about letting people know he's a crash out. And he's also not shy about checking people. So when people sit with Jim Jones, it's a little bit more respect that they have with other interviewers. For the last 2 months, Joe has refused to talk about Melyssa Ford and the reason why she's not on the podcast anymore. Every now and then, somebody on the podcast will drop a hint about why Melyssa's not there anymore. But even with the fans asking about it, Joe has not talked about it. That is until today. If you guys don't know, Joe did an interview with Jim Jones on his podcast platform, Artist to Artist, and he flat out asked him, yo, is Melyssa Ford on the podcast or not? And you can tell Joe really did not want to answer this question. He thought about it and gave the most diplomatic answer he possibly could. Here's what he said.
So yeah, any show I've ever done is under my network. I have worked with some other podcasters to build shit from the ground up. Hasn't always gone the greatest. Sometimes it's been good, and sometimes, well, most times it's been bad for me. And I ain't really made too much money from doing it that way. I ain't gonna lie. The success I've seen is from a group of people sitting in that living room and talking about it and chopping the dope and just moving around with it. That's the network. The success of, I think you only need The Office or Seinfeld, or you only need that.
So is Melyssa still part of the show now, or is just Mona that's part of the show now?
I didn't do a swap.
All right.
I didn't do a swap. See,
okay.
one of y'all on them phones over there. No, I didn't do a swap.
All right.
Melyssa stepped away.
Okay.
And Mel, was negotiating for.
Shouts to Melyssa.
Quite some time. Shouts to Melyssa. We love her.
But I can't say this. Mona has been one of my favorite people since the pandemic. She is one of the most funniest, like, touch your soul funny, like, just her talk. She don't even gotta be funny. She just to her walk in and you see, you just want to laugh. Like, she has that type of aura to her. I was so happy when I seen her on the couch. I was like, oh, now this show just got some more legs, because this girl is a whole show on her own. Like, she really, that's very dope, man. Shouts to you, Mona. I just want to give you a motherfucking flowers, girl. You did that, girl. Show out time now.
And she has been. She's been great. She's been on time, just as funny as I imagine. I've been plotting on Mona for a while. She hate when I say that because she was in whatever contract she was in. But
yes, I always used to hear the time. I didn't have no platform. I used to always say, like, yo, you need to, like, girl, like, even when she was with Gilly and Wallow, I believe that's the first one. So I was like, when they had her, I was like, well, I don't know what happened, but I think I would have kept her close. That girl got some shit with her, but dope. I'm glad she's with you.
It's only so long you can contain good talent like that, right? Like, even if she stayed, she was going to eventually go and need her own.
100%.
Yeah, the dogs get big and got to leave the cage at some point. So Mona is great. We love Mel. Shout out to her. So, yeah. Real funny, whoever that is over there back.
Now, if this was any other interviewer, Joe would have given them the runaround. He would have given them some kind of philosophical answer that really make no sense.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. However, you could not step twice into the same rivers. But the mind is not a vessel to be filled. Do not fear failure, but rather fear not trying. I think all of us are trying when we think about it, you know?
Joe would have given the most frustrating response to anybody else. Now, even though Joe did not dive deep into the question, he was still respectful enough to answer the question for him, which shows you their friendship level and how cool these guys are with each other. Now, I do want to say this though. The fans seem to be loving Mona a lot more than Melyssa Ford. A lot of fans are saying that Mona is a lot more funnier, she's got great personality, and she also doesn't gaslight like Melyssa did. Mona is also not afraid to tell stories about her past. That was always an issue with the Joe Budden podcast fans, where people felt like Mel could elevate the show even more if she talked about her past life as a model. Now, all you Melyssa Ford podcast fans, don't you guys worry. Mel actually has her own podcast, Hot and Bothered. She's actually in the middle of season 3 right now. So if you guys want to hear more of her thoughts and opinions, you guys can always go to her podcast, her YouTube channel, and show her some love. Now, with that being said, I truly hope what Joe said about Melyssa Ford stepping away is actually true, because we all know right now, Mel is looking for any and every reason to be petty. I don't know what the terms is for their NDA, but she's already had Charlemagne on her first episode, which I believe is actually one of her most viewed podcast episodes. So imagine if Mel drops an episode where she tells all, or when she responds to Joe Budden lying about the reason why she's not on the podcast anymore. But so far, both sides seem to be keeping it cordial and keeping it cute. You guys get in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys later, man.